What are the impacts of climate change?
The impacts of climate change, well, the glaciers are melting, which is making the oceans rise. We're losing land mass. Erosion occurs because of that as well. It's also causing more severe weather events and more weather events, as we're seeing from this particular hurricane season, because our oceans are also warmer. The warmer oceans also are creating changes to the wildlife in the oceans. It's also then going to, I'm sure, create issues with the wildlife on land, which I'm not as familiar with that because you hear more about the ocean impacts, but there are land issues as well, because if there's warmer climates, then things don't grow at the same times, and then the animals can't find what they need. So it's a big impact to like every ecosystem and every area of the planet.
When are those impacts irreversible?
I think they're pretty much already irreversible. Like, we can't make the glaciers like freeze again right now. I mean, I don't happen to have that big of a refrigerator or a freezer. And so I think a lot of these are irreversible already. When things die and are gone, they're gone and we can't bring them back.
What are the causes of climate change?
That's a really great question, because I think the causes of climate change, I firmly believe that the weather in general, in the if you think about the global picture, the big picture, is cyclical. So I think regardless of whether we were on this planet or not, you would have climate change. You've seen it from history. But I also think that we as humans have exacerbated it or accelerated it as well. I don't think we caused it. I think it was going to happen regardless, but I do think it is happening more quickly and more drastically because of our being on the planet.
What do you think your impact is on climate change?
I think everybody has a very tiny impact, but all those tiny impacts build up to a big impact. So for the people who think, well, it doesn't matter if I do that, it's just me. Well, if everybody says that, then we're all impacting climate change. Another thing is choosing companies or businesses who are aware and are trying to do things to lessen their global footprint, their carbon footprint, and who actually try and recycle their products and try and do things to positively impact, I guess you could say, climate change. Pick those companies, and even if everybody does something small, it adds up to something big.
Define sustainability.
Sustainability is the process or the choices that we make to make the planet and last longer, or our natural resources last longer, trying to sustain the natural ecosystems and the natural things of our world.
What are some current sustainability practices or endeavors, personal, national, global?
Personal, recycling, more, not going to places and doing things that are more, I guess, focused on canned fun, doing things that are outdoors, and just appreciating nature instead of trying to go places that are just all pavement and amusement parks and rides and things. But also, from a global sense, our government and even our financial leaders are making companies be more responsible. I'm in accounting, and you would think accounting has nothing to do with sustainability, but part of the SEC has come out with ESG regulations, which is environment, social, and governance. And we have, as a company, I work for a large company, we have to report on what we're doing for environmental impacts, social impacts, and what are our governance policies, just to be a good company and a steward to the world.
Explain what a non-renewable resource is and give examples.
A non-renewable resource is something that we use up and there isn't anymore. It doesn't come back. So a non-renewable resource is just easily enough to say